Welcome back, everybody. I'm here for another virtual visit. My name is Cara Green, and I'm the Cumberland Chamber of Commerce Coordinator. With me today again for just a brief visit, basically a follow-up from our last visit, is Jim Tempesta of Alternativa Solutions.
Morning, everybody.
So I ask that if you have any questions throughout this whole video, that you please leave them in the comments below so that we can get to them hopefully during the video. If not, then afterwards. We want to make sure that if you have any questions, you get them answered. So we'll get started. Also, hey Jim, you have a little incentive for those who are watching today, don't you?
I do, yes. It's not just talk and banter about my business, but I wanted to give people an opportunity to win something as they watch today. So stay tuned a little bit later in our segment here, and you'll hear the details.
And just to remind everybody, Jim's Facebook page is Alternativa Solutions. So again, I see a few people just joined us. If you have any questions throughout this whole video, I ask that you leave them below in the comments. We'll try to get to as many as we can during the live visit, but we'll make sure to keep checking back and answer any questions you have. So, Jim, part of the reason I'm here today is because we want to cover why people invest in gold and silver. So, personally, I would be interested because I have a huge distrust of the government. They're always over budget, and it seems like they just can't seem to allot our money well. So if I were going to, invest or try to put my money in like a long-term solution through them, I feel like I might not get back what I thought I put in. Or sometimes with the banks, you give them your money and you just hope that you get a good interest rate return. So
Right.
for me, that would be why I would probably choose to go with gold or silver. It's something tangible that you can hold on to.
Exactly. Those are two expressed concerns from our clients, and real reason why people want to put their money into something different. And silver and gold are very easy to own, and we'll talk about the process. But for what it represents, silver and gold actually were currencies before the fiat currency or paper dollar was initiated, and so it's important to understand that it's been recognized as a form of currency for thousands of years, and for that reason, when things get rough in the economy and the unpredictable financial markets, people like to go back to something they understand and that they can physically hold in their hand. Another reason that people buy silver and gold is that it's completely private. It's a private transaction. So when you come into my office, and if we set you up with some silver and gold, that is a non-reportable transaction. We have no reporting to the U.S. government. And so what that means is that in secrecy and privacy, you can hold this and own this, and nobody has to know about it, which is a nice kind of security blanket. It's kind of like having your own insurance policy for your money that no one knows about. So,
Absolutely.
and those are some of the huge reasons why people get impassioned about coming in and talking about this, because, listen, folks, we just went through a coronavirus pandemic. We're still technically in the middle of this. The financial markets lost a lot of value last year at the beginning of this, and they're still recovering. People don't trust the government because of the spending. There's variability in what stocks can do long term. People don't like to tie up their money in things that they have no control over. The banks are a place where we put our cash, but having cash in a bank and too much cash in a bank for a long term is not going to yield them any appreciation on their value. So this is another alternative way to put your money into something that you can hang on to, control, that you can hang on to, and pass along to your family members eventually down the road. So.
Absolutely. So I think you and I were talking a little bit before this video about why it was that you got into this. So if it's not too long of a story, I'd love to hear.
Yeah,
what
everybody
interest.
has a similar story. They have at least some knowledge or maybe some experience with owning silver, or maybe lucky enough to own gold. This is not about jewelry. Everybody probably has a piece of silver or gold jewelry. We don't do jewelry. But to me, I remember as a kid, I was going through my mom's poker change. And she had a box of poker change, and there was a bunch of pennies. And I found these old wheat cents that were dated in the early 1900s, and I was fascinated by the date of these minted coins and that they were different than coins you would find nowadays. And so that got me curious, and I was fortunate enough to be given some U.S. Mint issued silver dollars, and it was a collector's set, dimes and quarters and dollars, and I kept those, and they were in a little case, and I remember the red background, and they were all just pristine coins, and I thought, well, this is fascinating. So years later, when I got involved in this business, I started hearing the stories of how people were collecting their coins, and then they realized that they maybe could do this on a larger scale by buying more silver and maybe some gold. And so it's kind of like a little kid's collecting dream that turns into something that actually can benefit them financially.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, it kind of circles back around to the fact that gold and silver are such a set thing. You know, we've used that for currency for millennia, and so you really have a good idea with buying gold and silver as something that is tangible, won't lose its value, and it's just a forever thing.
Yeah, exactly. And there's benefit to owning, the physical silver bar or the silver dollar that you don't get if you find an electronic version. There's stock certificates, there's mining, you can own fractional parts of silver, and it kind of loses its luster, so to speak, because number one, it's reportable. Number two, it's volatile, and so there is some uniqueness to owning a coin that's 100 years old versus owning a certificate. When you own a coin, it has collectible value. Mm-hmm. And those are some of the things that we talk about when we get into, well, what type of product should I own, and how do I go about doing this? And so we have, there's hundreds of different products that are available, but there's a few that really do better than others, and those are the things that are important to ensuring that people's money doesn't, their value and their silver and gold doesn't go all over the place with the market, because, honestly, you could look up the price of silver every day, but it may not represent the actual value of the product you have in your hand.
Sure. Okay, so I'm a true beginner. I'm interested in this, but I haven't really had much time to do research, and probably if I did, I wouldn't really know what I was looking for. So if I came and I sat down with you, what would you tell me as a beginner of where we should begin?
Right. So there's no real set recipe for how much money you should put into silver and gold. The wealth managers have given people some ideas, but frankly, that's just their way of making sure everyone has allocation of different things. For somebody coming in and starting out and buying silver and gold, the first thing to recognize is that it's a long-term thing. Because silver, we think, is an undervalued commodity, we think there's tremendous growth for it for decades to come. And so for that reason, we kind of zero in on an amount that they want to start with that is in their comfort range, whether it's an allocation, a portion of their savings, maybe it's a retirement account that they've had that they'd like to use, which, by the way, people can use the retirement accounts to self-direct money into a special IRA just for silver and gold, which we encourage. We can talk about those things. But if people are allocating money out of their own paycheck to come in and do that, we can work with them to figure out a good plan for them. And we don't have to get it right on the first visit or the first purchase. We have clients that we worked with for many years that like to buy a little bit along the way. And frankly, And we call that the dollar cost average strategy of buying, which is a very smart investment strategy. You're buying something along the way, which has proven to be a very good return on value strategy for people that are buying silver for the long time and gold.
Oh, absolutely. You know, because somebody like me who's just starting out, you know, in 10 years, my life is going to look a lot different. I might have more or less that I want to invest. And obviously, you know, I hope I'm not going to retire for a while. So I'm looking at definitely a long-term investment.
So, you know, and that's a great point. What I encourage everyone to think about is that, you know, if you think about putting your money into something, or if you think that investing in the financial markets is something that you need to have a bunch of money for, and you have a long pathway to look towards, or you don't have to think about retirement yet because you're a young person, I encourage all young adults to come in and talk to us about buying silver and gold now, because the benefit of owning it for the long term is tremendous. And it's just a great way to get ahead of it, so that, you know, come 20 years from now, 25 years from now, 30 years from now, you'll have this great treasure chest just waiting for you. And of course, along the way, you know, if you need money, cash for an emergency situation, we can absolutely buy back your gold and silver within a couple of days, have cash in your hands. So it's very liquid along the way. So there's no long-term commitment, but we certainly think that there's a benefit to owning it long-term.
Sure. So you kind of alluded to this earlier, because a lot of people like to be able to track their investments very regularly, but it's not so simple as just Googling how much is silver worth right now or how much is gold worth right now. You know, they would probably have to either call or come see you and get a realistic idea of what all of their investments are worth.
Sure, exactly. You know, it's people can get a general flavor for what the value of silver and gold is just by looking it up. And the spot ounce price is broadcasted, and it changes by the minute when the market is open. But that's not necessarily the complete value of what they have, and products they're not only worth the ounce of silver or gold that's within them. There's collectible coins that are far more valuable than the spot ounce price, and some things that are closer to the ounce price. And, you know, recognize that the contract price that's broadcasted is a contract for that 1 ounce of gold or silver on that day, which changes. So we don't have a system where they can automatically check their holdings value, but we provide that information either by a phone call or an email, and then we can offer that along the way, so they know where they're standing and how it's doing. They want to have some appreciation of why they did this. Then it's a good idea. So we're happy to provide that information.
Oh, absolutely. It's part of that personalized service that they get when they work with somebody like you, a human face-to-face, you know, getting advice while you're kind of getting updated on where you're at.
And that's an important point to remember, because what we do really is we're an advisory service for people that want to buy and hold silver and gold as an alternative solution for their money. But importantly, it's kind of the overall start to finish. And there's no finish sometimes in mind for families, because they pass on their holdings from generation to generation. And so, you know, people can go out on the internet and find gold and silver and buy it, and I'm sure they can satisfy their basic needs. But the careful time and selection that we put to what they want to do, their goals, their aspirations, the type of products that are going to reflect really the value they have towards their money, is a huge part of the process. And then along the way, if some products aren't performing like others, then we simply just exchange them out at no cost to them. So those are some of the things that we offer throughout the relationship with our clients. And again, we provide cash in a moment's notice for the value of that coin specifically, which is important, or their holdings. And then we help them make decisions along the way with their money, just like any financial advisor would do for people that are putting their money into financial financial market products.
Yeah, because you're not just dealing with money, you're dealing with people's lives and their futures here. And so it's important to have that connection.
Yeah, we believe the advice and recommendations that we're offering and how we help them and guide them through the long term is very important to us. We're not just a shop where you can come in and buy a couple of coins. That's not our business model. We're really here. We're invested into the people in our community to help them, give them good avenues, alternative avenues for their money that will reward themselves, their families, and hopefully generations to follow.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to remind everybody that if you have any questions at any point, then feel free to shout them out to us. We'll be happy to answer them as best as we can. Even if they're not things that we're talking about today, if they're just general questions you have for Jim, then we encourage you to put them in the comments below. Now, if you joined us a little late, you maybe didn't hear about the incentive that Jim has for watching this video. So I'm going to let him touch base on that again.
I realize that everyone's time is valuable, and we appreciate you listening in. If you don't see it live or you're coming back to watch this, we decided that we're going to offer one of these old silver dollars. I don't know if you can see that, it's kind of bright. These are kind of the hallmark of some of the things that we sell through our business. And in order to be entered into a drawing, I'd like you to go to my page, Alternativa Solutions, and like it. And then if you can send me a message, a private message, so that your response is not mimicked by anyone else, send this message to me, Silver Dollar 21, and we'll enter you individually into the drawing. And I'll pick a winner a week from today, giving everyone ample time to see it.
Well, thanks, Jim. That's very generous of you because, yes, like you said, everybody's time is very precious. But we do definitely appreciate when you guys sit down with us to listen in and learn a little bit more about what's going on in the community and all these wonderful businesses that are nestled in downtown that you maybe walk by just because you're not really sure what goes on behind their doors. So with that, I want to thank Jim so much for sitting down with me. As a business owner, I know your time is very valuable as well.
Well, thank you, Cara. It's been my pleasure to talk with you this morning, and I hope everyone finds these virtual visits valuable, because I know that the Chamber is working very hard to showcase a number of businesses, and we're fascinated by everyone's service and what they offer to our community. So
yeah, I gotta say, it's been really fun to get to know all the businesses that I have so far. Some of them are old friends, some of them are new people I've met through working at the Chamber of Commerce, but it seems like I always learn something new when I'm sitting down here, which I hope translates into these being pretty genuine, because I want them to be very authentic. So with that, next week I'm actually going to switch things up a little bit, and I'm going to be interviewing myself, because the Chamber of Commerce chamber lady job is kind of an interesting jack of all trades position. And by the questions I get on a daily basis, I think sometimes people maybe don't quite understand just exactly what it is that I do in the office. So if you join me next Tuesday at 10 a.m., I'll be talking about a little bit about myself, but mostly about what it is that goes on at that Chamber of Commerce office on Main Street. So hopefully you can join us. Remember that Jim is doing the giveaway on his Facebook page, Alternativa Solutions. You can also find him on his website, which is alternativasolutions.com. Thank you so much, Jim.
thank you, Cara.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.